Yeah, so let's get started. So I'll start by creating a new Spring Boot app using the Spring Boot initializer page. So I'll go into springinitializer.io. So in here, if you're new to this or you're new to Spring Boot, this is where we initialize or we bootstrap the initial app for Spring Boot. So we can select our Java version. We select Maven on our project dependency management, and then here we'll pick a Spring Boot 4, which is the latest now. And then I want to create a CRUD project for, let's say, for a school. So I'll just call it school project. Let's say ABC school. Yeah, ABC school. So let's say ABC school for our simplicity. So we just say ABC school .africa, then that's it. Yeah, so let's say we want to create this project, so we'll give it that, and then package you can select either. I'll pick Java for now, and then we'll pick configuration file. You can use property file or you use the YAML file. So for me, I'll pick YAML file. And then for Java, you can pick either version of Java depending on which one is supported in your system. You can pick Java 25 or 21, either way, pick according to you. Now we have a couple of dependencies that are new that we're gonna use in our RESTful APIs. So for example, I'll have the Spring Boot web. This will help me create some APIs. So I'll pick the first one, not the reactive one. And then I'll also have data JPA. So I'll use JPA for this tutorial. And then I'll pick Open Elementary. So this Open Elementary basically is a new feature that gives us observability in Spring Boot 4. Elementary, sorry. All right, so that one we can just add it from Maven repo. So you can just say, let me see, and just go to Maven repo and say we want to have the Open Telemetry. Let's see if we have it here, elementary. So this will give us the Spring Boot observability. So need to find it. So being a new, let me just see if we can search for it. Open Telemetry. It's within Spring Boot Starter, or rather Spring Boot Starter. So let's see, once we create this, Open Telemetry. Yeah, here we go. Also, probably you need to start with Open Telemetry for it to see your dependency. That's why it wasn't really giving me the dependency. Yeah, so out of that also we'll add starter validation to just have so this is the validation Spring Starter. Let me see so that I pick the correct one. Starter validation. Let me see. We'll just see once we create the POM file, we'll be able to notice it. And then there's also support for Jackson 3. So I'll also pick Jackson 3. All right, so that one I think we'll have to pick it. So Jackson 3, that's it. Yeah, so I'll just pick that from Maven also. Jackson 3 Maven. I'll just search like that, and then I'll pick this Jackson core, and then I'll add these to our POM file later on. Yes, so that's it. Also, we can pick one for Postgres, since we'll be using Postgres in our example. So we just pick the PostgreSQL driver, and then we can explore our dependencies. So this is how it will be. So we'll have MVC, starter validation, Open Telemetry, then we'll have data JPA, Postgres tests, then all these other tests. Yeah, so that's cool, looking good. So I'll just easily generate my code here. Then I can go to my POM file to add my other items. So I'll just pick this one, and then I'll extract it, and then I'll open these in my IntelliJ. Yeah, so I'll open these in my IntelliJ, and then we start from there. So I'll go to my IntelliJ, and then I'll open this project. Yeah, so I'll open this project in here, already opened in here, and then I'll go to add this one item that I didn't find. This is Jackson, so I'll just come here and add it under dependencies, and then I'll paste it here, the one I copied from Maven. Then I'll pick Jackson 03, and then that's it. So after this, you'll need to just load up you'll need to update your Maven dependencies. Then we continue from there. So I'll run Maven clean install to update my dependencies, or either way you can also come here on Maven, in your IDE, and then you refresh here to just load up, or you can use this life cycle like clean first, and then after cleaning you can then install some new dependencies for Spring. So that's our initial project setup. So let's try if our project will run. So after that, our project is ready. Let's see if our app will now run. So all the dependencies set. Now our program should be able to run. So let's confirm what you're having here. So data source URL. So we need to configure our database first before we can use these couple of items. So I'll configure my Docker based, or rather Docker hosted CRUD as PostgreSQL into our app. So let me just show you that in a sec. So here I have my Docker, and then in here, so I have Postgres already installed in Docker. You can do a local installation into your machine. If you're using, say, Windows, you can just get an executable file. If you're using Mac, you can get a runnable file also to do the same. So I'll try to run these. So I'll try to run this Docker image, Docker container, for my PostgreSQL. I think this is the one. So I'll try run it, and then I'll confirm if this is accessible via. So I had set up this in a previous tutorial. So if you wanna also understand some notes on this, let me know so that I can put it on the comment on how to set it up. Yeah, so on my local, I have a connection here that is localhost, and then I can edit connection. So I have this database set up in here, which is called localhost. The database is MasterDB, and then there's a user and password. So this one I created using a Docker file that I'll also put a link on the description. So there's a Docker file that I used to set up that, which is this. So having this Docker compose, if you run this on Docker, it will automatically create for you the database. So this is what I wanted to just have on the database level. So let me just grab this, then we go to configure our application. So I'll minimize this, and then I'll come here. So at least here we have these items. So I'll set my Spring Postgres connection and passwords. So I'll just set here Spring. So this is Spring application name. It's probably Africa. Maybe you can say Africa School or something. This is the name of the application. And then just below that, I'll just configure now my data source. So if you want some lessons with YAML, I find it much readable. So if you need some also tutorial around the same, let me know in the comments so that I can do the same. So I'll define my data source. So I'll define my data source URL. That should be the same URL that you're having to load onto Postgres. So this is my port, but URL should be localhost. So I'll just say JDBC. I'm using JDBC.postgres, and then I say localhost 5432, and then I'll put this is 54, the port for the Postgres, and then I'll just put my database name, which is this one, and then on the second item I'll configure my username. So I'll just say the URL, the second one is username, just put it. So after the colon there's a space, and then I'll say my database password is this password in here. So I'll grab this, the one I had from Postgres. Then you can finally put the driver class for your usually driver class name for your application. There's usually org.postgres.driver here. This should be a dot driver. So that's it. That's a complete way. So if you want to set up some items on Hibernate, say you want to set up stuffs like the DLL auto update in terms of updating your DLLs on the database, you can just have another item here. So after the data source, you can have the second item here. You call it JPA. And then in here is where now you can set up stuff to do with Hibernate. Say you want to set something like a DDA auto. You just say maybe if you want it to update or do nothing, you can just put your command there. And then also if you want to show SQL, you can just say show SQL true on this. And then other items that you can set, like formatting the SQL and stuff like that. For example, you can say I want to properties of this. Then so this is after show SQL properties of this, and then I'll just say Hibernate. So I'm just putting some more item of this so that at least on your template you'll have a very nice template to use in case you want to use all these setups. This setup for your initial project, because I'll upload it on Git. So you can say Postgres SQL, then dialect. Yeah, so if you want to format the SQL, which is to be in a very readable way on the console also, when you're logging your statements, and just still say format SQL, and then you say true. So this is a complete setup of an initial database configuration for Hibernate and also for Data JPA, so that we can access our database using the JDBC driver. So that being done, we can now grab all the other items that we have. So this is the part that we've added for data source. So we can now try to run our app and see if everything is okay, and our app will be up. I'll just reduce this a bit to make it a bit readable. Yeah, so here we go. So you'll find something like this in here. You'll find Tomcat started on port blah blah blah, port 8080. Yeah, so having this, now we know our app is well configured and it's up and running. So I'll just try to now build some APIs around this, our CRUD APIs, on the next tutorial.